Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and an absolute pleasure to bring a puzzle that was born on the Discord server. The Cracking the Cryptic Discord server is not run by us. It was set up by friends of the channel. It is run by a series, or by a group of excellent moderators, and thank you for doing that, guys, and for somehow our name being associated with it is brilliant. And they're incredibly fair people. I'm absolutely convinced by that. And there's a lot of help for solvers and constructors on various channels there. Help for Patreon users, all sorts of things. And prompts for types of puzzles that people are suggesting be set. And some absolutely wonderful work comes out of there. This puzzle, I think it's on Logic Masters Germany now, but it was born on the Discord server and proved very popular. It's by Cactuslav. It's clearly the offspring of a Slavic person and a cactus, or not. But first time appearance on the channel, happy debut, Cactuslav. And I love the look of the puzzle. Mind the dot, very symmetrical apart from one dot, which we have to mind. I'm looking forward to this. It's a region sum line puzzle with a dot. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Now, I mentioned Patreon. Of course, we have got the Labours of Rostam on Patreon, our August monthly reward. It's a puzzle hunt in 7 puzzles. They begin with lion and they end with black and white, and we urge you to give them a try. Enter the competition by the 20th. You might win the chance to collaborate with Simon on a solve, or just have fun with the puzzles. Please engage with us there. There's also crosswords and connections videos on Patreon. There's SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD linked under the video. There's all our apps, the Discord server, of course. The apps include Line Sudoku, like today, and Fog of War, and the Worms, and there's just so much going on around the channel. We urge you to join this wonderful, warm, and welcoming community and be part of it. And what will draw you in, I hope. It's not me, it's not Simon, it's these wonderful variant Sudokus that we tackle every day. And today's is Mind the Dot, said in my best tube announcer voice, where they say mind the gap a lot on the underground here. Anyway, let's look at the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box, as most days. Box borders divide each blue line into segments with equal sums. So that segment will have the same sum as that one, and that segment. The black dot connects 2 digits in a ratio of 1 to 2. One is double the other. It is relatively simple to understand as rules. It is relatively not necessarily simple to solve, but let's have a go and see how we do. You can check the video length to see how I found it. Let's get cracking. There's quite a lot of separate lines here. Of course, lines can have different sums. I mean, that's obvious. These 2 lines couldn't have the same sum because those 2 digits would be the same and they're in the same box and column. Okay, let's start with the 3 cell segments, which must add up to at least 6. So these, I might be colouring today. These digits are 6, 7, 8, and 9. These 2 are the same. These 2 are the same. Now, they might be the same as each other. Pink and yellow might be the same digit. I don't know. What is going on in the middle box? The middle box, it's got an empty cell, but then it's got a cell that is the root of each triangle. There's 4 of those, obviously. And these doubles that add up to a single digit number. I don't know what this means. I tell you what, this digit is the same as that digit because they're single cell segments on that triangle. Okay, let's do that for the 4 triangles. And at least we now know that red, green, blue, and orange are different digits because they're all in box 5. So these sums for these lines, they're all different. Now, pink sees green and orange, and pink also sees red in row 4. I can't highlight them for some reason. So the only one of these, red, green, orange, blue, that pink could be is blue. And similarly, the only one that yellow could be is green. What does that mean to you? It doesn't mean much to me, if I'm honest. Maybe I need to think about box 3 and the dot. I mean, the title of the puzzle is Mind the Dot. So what I was thinking, okay, this can't be a 1, 2 dot, because those digits would be at least 3, 4, 5, and that adds up to too many. If this was a 2, 4 dot, ooh, that would be interesting. These would have to be 1, 3, 5, adding up to 9. But annoyingly, there are other possibilities. This could be a 3, 6 dot, in which case this digit couldn't be 6, but it could be 7 with a 1, 2, 4, 8 with a 1, 2, 5. Oh, interestingly, not 9 in that case, which is a surprise. Now, if this was an 8, 4 dot, is it clearing everything out of the way? No, not quite. This digit couldn't be 8 because it would be seeing 8. It couldn't be 7 because for 7 there'd be a 4 on the line. I don't know. I don't think this is a very profitable way of looking at this. Although I'm just saying that. No, I was going to say, have we ruled out 7 from all pink possibilities? I don't think we have, because 1, 2, 4 could be there. So, what do I need to do? Why should these triangles have to have a 6, 7, 8 or 9 as their base, their n? If they didn't, if we came down to as little as 5 here, that would be a 5 as well. These pairs would either be 1, 4 or 2, 3. I don't know, I can't see the problem with that. Okay, how about these digits? This digit is obviously the sum of those two, and it appears there as well. So it can't be, well, that's quite interesting. It can't be green, orange, blue, yellow, or pink. So if this is any of the colours we have already denoted, it's red. In fact, okay, I'm going to take out all the colours I've done already. I mean, maybe this is mad, but this is something I want to do. I'm taking out all the colours I've done. I'm going to start with this. Let's call it red. Where is red in box 5? It's not quite, sorry, it's not quite what I thought. It can't be in those cells by Sudoku. It's not there because that is the same as that, and that sees red. So this red digit, well, it's in one, no, it's not. It's not there, and it's not there. Okay, yes, this was right. Okay, I'm going to restore a little bit of colour and order here, because those greens have to be the same as each other on that triangle. Those pinks on that one, those oranges on that one. Where is red in the central box? It's not allowed to be there by ordinary Sudoku. It's not here because pink is the same as that, and they clash in column 7, and it's not green, and it's not orange in row 7. So red has to be there. And now that's red as well. And now what is this digit, and where does it go in the central box? Let's call it blue for now, and I suspect we'll be changing its colour in a moment, and I know what to. But by Sudoku, blue can't go in those cells. Blue also can't be red or green or orange. So the only place it can go is here, so that can become blue. And now we've got a kind of network of colours beginning. And that's interesting. Now, these big digits, what can they be? They can't be red or blue in that box, and neither of those can be green. So, the only of the digits that we've coloured in the central box that these could be are orange. Okay, what do I know about the size of digits that I've been colouring in the central box? Not enough is my first thought. I suppose blue and red add up to, well, all of these coloured cells must be at least 3 because they all have 2 cell sums somewhere. There's a boring starting point. What that does mean is that 1 and 2 in this central box are somewhere in that central plus. That's not thrilling, but it's true. Because these 4 cells sum up to red plus blue equals at least 10 because the sum of any 4 cells that have to be different is 10. That's not very powerful either. This digit can't be red, blue or orange, and therefore it might be green, but it might not. I feel like we're getting set up so the low digits in the center are here and the higher digits are in the corners, but I can't work out why that is so in this puzzle yet. I do need to do more thinking. I'm pleased to have got this colour strategy achieved so far, but it doesn't really, well, okay, hang on, it does yield something, doesn't it? Red is in one of those 2 cells in row 6 and in one of those 2 in column 6. Let's try this. Blue is in one of those 2 in row 4. Yeah, interesting. And one of these 2 in column 4. We can do this, oh no, we can't do it for green and orange because red and blue are repeating, green and orange aren't much yet. Okay, but this is interesting. There is a relationship between red and blue, which I'm going to describe in this way. One of them is higher than the other. Knowledge bomb explodes all over the puzzle. Obviously, either red or blue is higher than the other, but there is something interesting about how one of them is higher than the other. I will come back to this in a moment. Right, sorry about that. I had to take my son to meet his friends, which I had promised to do before, and I didn't know the time was now. I've been away from this for a while, but I remember the thread I was picking at, which was that blue or red, one is greater than the other. And I'm wondering if we could have found out which is which. And it's to do with this line. So, my claim here, I don't know, this doesn't work. I was going to say that red is in one of these 2 cells, so it's either on this line and it's part of orange, or it's here. Now, if it's here, it's not the same as blue. We know that red is not the same as blue, so if red is here, this is blue. So one of them is part of orange. Okay, and the same's true up here. One of them is part of green. This isn't quite what I thought I'd seen. But there we go. It's nothing to do with red and blue being one greater than the other. But one of them, in each case, is smaller than orange or green. That's all I'm getting. And it's not a dramatic find, is it? And in fact, I should say at least one of them, because it's possible that neither was here. They could both be here. That was the situation I had thought before I went away wasn't possible, was for them both to be on the triangle. But actually it probably is. So unless my brain had thought beyond that, and I don't think it had, the conclusion I was drawing wasn't correct. So in that case, we are still stuck looking at... I didn't really get anything from marking these reds and blues. Maybe I should look further. Red in this box has to be in one of those cells, and blue in this box in one of those. How could red be there? It would no, I was going to say it would definitely be less than blue, but blue doesn't have to be there. No, I don't know. I'm completely missing a trick of some sort here. So maybe I have to populate these cells with colours or something and speculate about where those digits go. Okay, let's try it. Just yellow, bright blue, bright green and pink. Now, red is either there or there. Well, yeah, red and blue can't both be in these cells, so one of them is on the triangle. So what does blue combine with to make green if that is blue, not yellow? In fact, we know that blue is made up of yellow and light blue. We know that red is made up of pink and bright green. Okay. I mean, we know then that this can't be pink plus bright green because it would equal green. And we know from the central box that it equals red and that red's not the same as green. That's something. This couldn't be pink plus bright green. This couldn't be yellow plus light blue. No, I don't get it. I don't get what we're meant to identify here. Maybe it's worth going back to speculating what happens if one of these is as little. Well, let's start with what happens if one of these is as little as 4, and at least rule that out if we can. Because if this, for instance, is 4, then these pairs that are adding up to that number are a 1-3 pair, and this pair is a 1-3 pair. And what's the problem with that? One of the problems with that is that these two digits couldn't have 1 and 3 or 4 and would have to add up to 7 at least, therefore, and they would have to have a 2 in. No, I don't know. That doesn't really do anything. And the situation is different. Dark green and orange are very different colours from red and blue because red and blue appear in a minimum 4 cells here and sort of scattered elsewhere. Oh, well, hang on. Right. If that was blue, that would be blue. Okay, this is something. Right, if this was blue, with that being blue, where would blue go in these cells? Not there because it clashes with that. Not there because it would be on a line adding up to blue. And not there because it would clash with another. Oh, well, that can't be blue, you muppet. It's much simpler than that, Mark. That can't be blue because that would be blue and it would clash. Right. And that can't be red because that can't be red. Honestly, I'm sorry. Although it's totally not responsible, I'm going to blame the distraction of having to nip out. Right, those are blue and red, and I can do the same here. That can't be red because this would be red, and that can't be blue because the other would be blue. Those are not coloured, and these are no need to flash them. Right, so blue is now in one of those cells. And on the black dot. Now, that's getting interesting. Red is in one of these cells and not necessarily on the black dot. In fact, red is not blue, so that's not both of them. I mean, we've got a lot of red marked here, haven't we? There's a red somewhere there, and there's a blue somewhere there. Oh, sorry for being so densely dumb. Now, I don't know if it's worth having these coloured, but I'm going to leave them. So, red and blue are both less than green. Red and blue are both less than orange. And yet, red and blue are both the sum of two cells in the central box and add up between them to at least 10. But they're both less than green and orange. Now, the minimum that red and blue could be, because they add up to at least 10 based on this thing, is a 4 and a 6. That's when I say the minimum that they could be, that's the minimum highest digit amongst them is 6, if they were 6 and 4. Otherwise, they would be 7 and 3 or more than that, or 8 and 2 or more than that. Basically, 6 is the maximum number of them. And therefore, green and orange, which are greater than both red and blue, must be selected from 7, 8, 9. And, I want to say, oh no, this is these could be 6. This one can't be 6. We've worked that out. I didn't unpencil mark 6, but I should have done. These can't be, oh no, haven't worked that out. And it's not necessarily true. If those were 6, this is 1, 2, 3, and that black dot is 4, 8. No, I didn't work that out, and it's not true. Bother. Right, blue, this is so interesting. Blue and red add up to at least 10. What is the most they can add up to? Well, dark green and orange could be 9 and 8. And then blue and red could add up to 13, said by being 7 and 6. And then these digits, so that is the maximum that these digits can add up to, is 13. Now, red is at least, I mean, I suppose it can be as little as 3. This is so annoying because you could put 1, 2 there, and here, and I don't see that that's impossible. So all I know for red and blue is that they're somewhere between 3 and 7. And blue is definitely on the black dot. Unfortunately, any of 3, 4 and 6 can be on the black dot. But it does mean blue is either 3, 4 or 6, and I'm going to pencil mark that, just because I haven't found out much else. Now, on these triangles, blue plus that equals orange. Red is anything from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as far as I know. Both of them are less than orange and dark green. Now, it's so interesting, this. I really am gripped by it, but blue and red together can never add up to green or orange, because there would be a clash here or here or here or here. If blue was 6, It's adding up with 1, 2 or 3 here to 7, 8 or 9. The same here, different number because we're adding to a different digit. It is amazing what constructors can do with puzzles. I am literally in a whirlpool of excitement, wondering what I'm going to find and not really having a clue at the moment what that's going to be. Okay, if these are 6, which is unlikely, that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4, 8. So blue would then be 4. That would be a 1, 3 pair. It wouldn't necessarily, it definitely wouldn't mean that 8 was red. For this to be a 4, 8 pair, does that mean, no, neither of them has to be red, that can be red. I don't know. I'm trying to get to grips with this puzzle and not managing. All I know about this digit is it's not red, blue or green. It's not the green version of 7, 8, 9. I couldn't even rule out 6 just now. That's irritating because I feel like that's possibly key. I do think these lines may well be key to the whole puzzle. And then the black dot disambiguates some deconstruction early on that is possible but isn't because of that. Or is it just because blue gets forced onto it? I mean, this black dot, the trouble is I could candidate mark it, but since blue can be either 3, 6 or 4, this pair can be either 2, 4, 4, 8 or 3, 6, and that's 2, 4. What happens with that? Then these digits have to be 1, 3, 5, and this becomes a 9. Dark green is 7 or 8 in that case. So if this was a 2, 4, and in fact, what happens in the box? We get 2, 4, 1, 3, 5, not 9, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 5. Six is in a position which, blue has to be 4 if that's 2, 4, because blue is one of those. So you've got a 1, 3 pair here and a 1, 3, 5 here in that situation. Got 1, 3 pairs here and here and here. Now there might be something that totally fails there, but I can't see what it is. This is a beautiful setup, I still say that. Okay, where's orange in this box? Well, it can't be in those cells. It can't be here because it's bigger than blue. So it's in one of those. And up here, it's in one of those, but it's, oh no, orange could go there because it doesn't have, one of orange or green is smaller than the other. I mean, I have a feeling that's going to be dark green and that's going to be orange, but it's just a feeling. It doesn't mean anything at the moment. Oh, yellow and bright blue add up to dark blue. Oh, goodness. I'm wondering where yellow and bright blue go in this row, and I'm wondering if they do have to go here. So, yellow and bright blue add up to dark blue. That can't be yellow or bright blue because we know from here that they're less than 6, and that is at least 6. So we've got 4 cells left in the row. If either of them gets into this pair, then both do, because once one of yellow or bright blue is in the sum to dark blue, they both have to be. So the alternative is that that is a pair of yellow and bright blue. And they're quite low numbers and would be the difference between red and orange here. One of them would be. That doesn't quite resolve, does it? Is it the same sort of thing? No, it's not for green and pink, or bright green and pink, because I haven't limited red. I limited blue based on the dot. Blue is probably 6. Now what happens if it's 6? I should think about the other possibilities, but if blue really is 6. But if blue is 6, this is a 6-3 pair, and obviously these are all 6s. Then this is a 6-3 pair. These are not 6s. This could be 1, 2, 4 or 1, 2, 5. It can't make a total of 9. That's quite interesting. So these couldn't be 9s then. They would have to be 7 or 8. If dark blue is 6. And this would be 1, 2 or 3. Oh, and these would be from 1, 2, 4, 5, as would these. Let's paint the central cell a 9th colour. Not that I think I'm going to be able to use that particularly anywhere, but at least I've got the central box fully coloured. It's a tiny victory, I know. Right, dark green sees those cells. This can't be dark green either, so dark green's in one of those. Orange is in one of those. These sets are a bit disjoint. They're not coherent enough to help, annoyingly. Oh, it's got to be the black dot. It's got to be box 3 and this line and the black dot. And I can't see what is happening. Dark green and orange are probably 8 and 9, but they might involve 7. If they did involve 7, both red and blue can't be more than 6, because they're both smaller than whichever one of dark green or orange is 7, according to this triangle and this triangle. So they would have a maximum then of 11. Do you know what? I know why that doesn't work now. If dark blue and red added up to either 11 or 10, this central box fails, and I can see why. Right, if they added up, well, no, I'm going to correct what I said. If they were either made up of a 6-5 or a 6-4 pair, which would be the case if either dark green or orange was a 7. I'm about to prove that dark green and orange are an 8-9 pair, and I'm about to do it like this. If one of them was a 7, both dark blue and red would be less than 7. Imagine they are the total of these 4 cells, so they have to be at least a total of 10. Imagine that there are a total of 10 without using a 7 or anything higher. There must be 6, 4. And then these digits are 6, 4 pairs, eliminating 6, 4 from all these cells, but these are meant to add up to 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4 wouldn't be eliminated successfully. So that couldn't work. And the same happens with 6, 5. If you can postulate that blue and red could be 6, 5, but then these cells are 1, 2, 3, no, these cells are 1, 2, 3, 5 to add up to 11 in 4 cells. And there's a clash on 5s, whether 5 is blue or red. So you can't have a 7 amongst dark green or orange. They are an 8, 9 pair. And that is something. That is something, but I don't know what it is. I'm tempted to think, well, dark blue is not 7 because it's on the dot. If one of these was 7, if any of these cells were 7, then both red, oh, well, no, then whichever of blue or red line they were on would have to be more than 7. But these red and blue are not dark green and orange and are not more than 7. So none of these cells can be a 7. And 7 in the central box is either red or this new grey colour. Now, can we perhaps, and this is a long shot and this sort of thing has not worked yet in the puzzle, can we perhaps prove that red is well, what can we see what happens if it's 7? Is there a way it fails? That'll be the interesting thing. So I'm going to imagine that red is 7. Red is 7. So all of these are 7s. I'm just wondering about the total of red and blue as well. Oh, red would then have to be here, not on the black dot. And in one of those cells and one of these. Okay, so red would be very confined as 7 everywhere. And there are a few pairs that would add up to 7 in the puzzle, all of those. But 7 would also be here and here, totaling 8 and 9. So we'd have a 1, 2 pair in those cells. And that digit in the central box, I don't know. It could be, it probably would be one of those. I don't know. I mean, red could be 7. Okay, the other thing I was thinking about was this pair, which would now add up to 10, 11 or 13. Oh, what? Hang on. Are we not? No, we're not back in that position where... Okay, we know that red and blue add up to at least 10 because of this quad. And we know they can't be 6, 4 or 6, 5. So 6 cannot be the highest digit. So one of red or blue has to be a 7. And that can't be blue because it's on the dot. So red is a 7. There we go. Oh, goodness. I mean, I know you're screaming at me. Why has it taken so long for you to see that? Because I wasn't thinking about it in the right way, and you maybe were. Okay, that digit is 1 or 2. That digit is 1 or 2. Those two are different from each other. Now, if blue was a 3, red and blue would add up to 10. And these would be 1, 2, 3, 4, but 3 would be banned from appearing in any of them, so it's not a 3. This is going to stop at this point, annoyingly. Because if blue was a 4, these digits would be 1, 2, 3, 5. That would be a 4, you'd get a 6 in the middle. If this was a 6... that's a 6. These add up to 13. Now we can just do the maths on the whole box, we've got 30 and 13, you'd get a 2 in the middle. Isn't that weird? The middle digit is either 2 or 6. I don't know what that means. It must mean something. Yeah, I don't know what that means. But it didn't narrow down whether blue was a 4 or a 6. But it's not a 3 at least. It doesn't really inform this. Oh, hang on. What's this sum now? 4 plus 5 equals 9. You can't have 4 plus 4. 6 plus 2 or 3. So that's 2, 3 or 5. That must be the same here, or the same candidates here. I'm not saying it's the same digit. In fact, they're not the same digit because blue plus whatever this is equals a different total. Ah. So if blue was a 4, in one of these cases it would have to add to 8, and that's impossible. Right, blue's a 6. Excellent. And this is a 2-3 pair that I've now got highlighted, adding up to 8 or 9. This digit is now a 2, and these are 1, 3, 4, 5, adding to 13. One thing I've used in the center here without talking to you about it was that those added up to 30, and then plus these would get us to either 39 or 43. And I knew that the total of the central box was 45 because of the secret that we occasionally share with you. Right. These, in one case, these are the same digit because one of these is a 9. Together with 7, that's going to put a 2 in one of those places. And wherever that happens, it's... Oh. Well, it is true. One of them is a 2. What does happen? If that's a 2, 7 plus 2 is 9 there. We've got a 2 there. By Sudoku, that has to be a 2, and that's an 8. And this is a 1. Oh, my goodness. Things are happening now. Oh, it's also 6 on the black dot, so that's a 6-3 dot. We can't have 6 or 7 in this cell now because it sees them both in this box. We can't have 9 because this can't be 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5 or 2, 3, 4 because of the black dot. So that is an 8. Now we know that green is the 9. Orange is the 8. Oh, this puzzle is bloomin' brilliant, Cactuslav. That's a 2. That's a 3. I can do these maths as well. That's a 1. That's a 2. This pair doesn't have a 2 in it, or a 6. It's a 3-4 pair. This pair doesn't have a 6 in it or a 3. That's a 2-5 pair. Then I can finish the row with a 4 and a 1. Now I can finish this blue line with a 5. I've got 3 and 4 to fill in there, and I don't know the answer, but I'm going to do this column by putting a 9 here, and that's on the other end of the line. That's a 1. This is a 5-9 pair. I don't know what that is. That's so strange. I'm going to do it here. That's a 3-8 pair, so they're looking at pink. Pink becomes a 4. That's a 3. Okay, I'm going to get rid of those colours because really we only used some of the colours here. That's a 4-8 pair. This is 1-3-5, obviously 1-5 on the line. That's a 3. On this side of the line we've got a 2-4 pair. That's a 5. This is 1 and 9. Now, black dot. Not only have you got a 6 on, you've got a 3 on, and 3 goes in one of those cells. This is red, isn't it? That's a 7. Yes, it's worth keeping a track on the colours because that stops these being red. One of these is a 7. Right, well, we've done most of the lines. We haven't done this line. Oh, I don't know. Obviously, it's got there's a 7 in one of those cells and a 6 in one of these. We weren't expecting... Oh, well, 6 is not on the line then. So The line is not 1, 2, 6. Now it has a 3 on. 3 must be in one of those two cells because that one sees this 3. That's an X-wing on 3s. That's using up the 3s in columns 1 and 2. And there's a 3 up there. And that's an X-wing in rows 1 and 2. And that can't be the 3 in row 1 and 2. That's a 4. That's a 3. Now, in this row, is that going to help us? No, not really. That 4, does that help us? Oh, this line is I forgot that line. It's a 1, 2, 5 line. This digit sees 5 and 2. Now that 1 sees here. Oh, hang on. I went too far with my tapping. There we go. This is 2, 4, 7 down here. There's got to be a 1 in one of these cells. 2, 4, 7, 6, 1, 3 and 9. 9. Oh, that is a 3, 9 pair now. Look, 9 and 3 are looking at that cell. 2, 4, 7, 3, 9, 6. I've got 1, 8 and 5 left to deploy here. In this column, 3, 9, 1, 6, 7. 2, 5 both see that cell, so it's 4 or 8. This is also 4 or 8. But it sees a 4 there. Yes. 8 there, 4 there. This is coming together absolutely beautifully. That 2 makes this a 5. That makes this an 8. Now we have a 1, 5 pair here. That's become a 4. I can suddenly see that. This row looks possible now. No, maybe the 3 line. It's either 3, 2, 4 or 3, 1, 5. That digit can't be 1 or 5. And that digit can't be 2 or 4. Oh, okay, that's not finished. That's quite weird. I thought that would be the only thing we had left. Oh, look, there's a 5, 8 pair up here. 5, 8, 7. 1 is in one of those cells. 2 is also in one of these cells. No, not necessarily. 2 is in one of those 3. 4 is in one of those 2. Now I'm missing something. It's much more likely down the bottom. 8 is looking at that cell. That's what I'm missing. 4 and 8 there. Now 4 is in one of these 2. It's also in one of those. That's not interesting. Right, something is potentially a problem. That 1, 5. If this was 3, 1, 5, this is a 3. If it's 3, 2, 4, it goes 3, 4, 2. Right, if it's 3, 1, 5, that's the 3. This sees a 1, so that's 5 and that's 1. If it's 2, 3, 4, that's the 3. This one sees a 4, so it's 2, and that's 4. So we've got 2 candidates for each cell on that line. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm going to find my way through this now. Oh, that gives us a 2, 5 pair in column 3. 7, 6, 1, 8. We've got 3, 4, 9 left to place. That is 3 or 9. This one is not 3, so it's 4 or 9. And this one could be any of them. 1, 2, 2. Now I am back to one of these, this being a 1, 2 pair. So I'm going to take out the colour, because I can. I'm going to call it 1, 2, remove the 1. Now, in this row, 5 sees that. That's what's going on. That becomes a 3, and this is not a 3, but that doesn't resolve what it is. It does resolve that this is a 6, and that has no colour, and is 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, proving its position. And that's a naked single 6 in the other corner. In the blue corner, it's a 6. In the red corner, it's probably a 7. There will be a red corner, but I don't know whether it's southeast or southwest yet. Now, 6 there, 4-9 pair. A 4-9 pair in the column. Oh yeah, well that's unsurprising, I suppose, at this point. I think we're nearly done, and I just can't see how yet. There must be some X-wing. I've seen the 8 one, and that doesn't help. Oh, we need a 6 here, of course. That's the coloured cell. That is a 6, and this isn't, and is not blue. Still hasn't sorted out these blinking 7s. This bottom row, something must be done. No, maybe not. If that's a 2, we get 7. If that's a 2, that's 3 and 4. Oh, that doesn't quite resolve it. We're nearly there. We're so nearly there. 6, 8, 1, 5 in this row. 2, that can't be 4 or 9. So it's 2, 3 or 7. That's not a triple though. Oh, it's got to be to do with this silly line. I'm all down to pairs and triples. How can there still be a step in this? Right, is that 1, 3, 5? That would be a 5. And that would be a 1, of course, that would be fine. 1, 3, 5. That would be 9, that would be 3. This would be 9. That seems to work all right. And that would be 4, which is what I was expecting if this is... Okay, so what happens if it's 3, 4, 2? That's 9 that this time, which is different, obviously. 3, 4, 2, 6, 8, 9. That would be 7. If this is 3, 4, 2, that would be 7. The other digits we have left are 1, 5, 9. Two. In this row, look, there's a 3, 4, 9 triple. I hadn't seen that. This can't be 3. This is 2 or 7. I don't think it's going to do anything, but it is. Well, if it was 2, this is 5, 3, 1. And that's 4, 7, 9. I mean, it all hangs together. If that's 2, that's 2, that's 2, 5, 5. Oh, it kind of feels like there's 2 solutions. I'm sure there aren't. I'm sure there aren't, but why not? Well, okay. It's something to do with 5s, perhaps. If that's a 5, that's a 5. And then 5's off the line. So the line would have to be... Yeah, this doesn't work. If that was a 5, that's a 5. 5's off the line, so the line has to be 3, 4, 2. That puts 3 here and 3 there, and both these cells have to be 8 in that situation, which is not going to happen. So that is not a 5. I mean, what a last step. That is, ouch, that is hard. Right, 3 there. Now we know that the line has a 4 on it and is 3, 4, 2. And that's a 9. What a last step that is. Absolutely a fitting last step for an absolutely monumentally clever puzzle. This is really good, Cactuslav. Well done. 1, 2, that's a 5. We are going to finish now, and we are going to celebrate wildly. I have no idea. I mean, the time it's going to say includes my trip out, so I don't know what that is. Let's just get rid of that colour and that one. Colour these 2 red, just so we achieved what we were aiming for in the reds and the blues. There we go. What a brilliant puzzle. Take a bow, Cactuslav. That's fabulous. Really enjoyed that. I don't know how long the video is. I'm guessing about 45 minutes, but maybe it's longer. Thank you for watching, though. Thank you for coming with me on what is a very exciting journey and minding the dot there. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. It's been fun. Bye for now.